Welcome to Tag Park and Keith Harris Stadium on the campus of Carleton University in the nation's capital. It's the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Mooney alongside Chantal Dussault, who is no stranger to these championships. She represented X Squad in the 2016 CUCs. Chantal, welcome aboard. We're going to see the opening ceremonies to these championships, and this really is a huge occasion for the sport of ultimate in Canada, isn't it?
It absolutely is. This is the one event that all teams look forward to. You know, playing ultimate, this is the one event that we aim to play at, because not only do teams need to qualify to be here, they need to beat out the other teams in their regions in order to come and represent their regions. So they're representing themselves, and they're trying to either match the score, the ranking that they had the previous year, or ideally beat it to really represent their region and their teams.
Well, we will see a junior open tilt between Canyon and Toro. Toro is from Toronto, Canyon from North Vancouver a little bit later on. But there are 8 divisions within these national championships. Junior Open, Junior Women, Open, Women Mixed, Open Masters, Women's Masters, and Mixed Masters. That encompasses probably about 5 generations.
It does. It absolutely does. And I think I've played on 3 of those, Dan. Yes. And so today it's the opening ceremony for the juniors teams. And so for the juniors championships, there will be open, so that represents open teams. And then there will be women's, so female matching, female pairs of teams.
How much has the sport of ultimate grown at the club level across this country over the last 10 years?
There is such a pull and an attraction. It's like ultimate frisbee is a magnet. It's very much appreciated in youth, and we're seeing it grow also in the school systems. So we're seeing more and more of the physical education programs build ultimate frisbee as part of their normal curriculum, and so that's feeding the teams at every level.
We're going to talk about the game that you're going to be seeing in just a little bit. But these 2 teams, Toro and Canyon. Toro, the 7th ranked team of the top 8 teams in the country in this age group, going up against Canyon, who really are trying to prove something. They did very, very well, but not well enough in the 2023 CUCs, but they're back to maybe just send a message.
Absolutely. First of all, Toro is a long-standing team. They've done well for a long time. They're part of the Toronto elite system of ultimate. And so they're a tried and trusted and true team in Toronto. And they were ranked 7. They ended up 7th at the 2023 Junior Ultimate Championships. And coming in this year, they're ranked 7 as well. So, you know, again, very reliable team. Canyon, as you said, was ranked 13th last year at the end of nationals, and this year coming in, they are ranked 3rd, Dan. So they have had such an ascension, and they've put in a new playing system. I cannot wait to see Canyon Open team play today. It's going to be a fantastic game.
The Canadian Ultimate Championship, certainly not a stranger to the nation's capital. The first Canadian Ultimate Championships were held here in Ottawa in 1987. So with 2 years off from COVID, this would probably be the 35th playing of the national championships. Such a wonderful game that that continues to grow, but it still, for a lot of people, Chantal, it's a bit of an anomaly.
It is. It's as an ultimate frisbee player, we're very used to saying to people, "Oh, I play ultimate frisbee," and they'll say, "Oh, what is that? I've never heard of the sport." But when you're in this community, it's something that everyone that we talk to knows and loves and is attracted to. And we're seeing when we explain it, when we bring friends to play it, they love it, they want to join. So it's grown so much in 35 years. I started playing in Ottawa about 25 years ago, and it was very much sort of a very community-friendly sport. It was not as competitive as today. Today they have programs, they have youth programs, they have it in schools, they have performance program, mental performance coaches. It's a totally different sport. It's grown from sort of a hobby sport to a high-performance sport.
I have been very fortunate to be involved with this sport on several different levels. The last time that the national championships were held in Ottawa, the seniors and junior, was 2017, and I got a chance to call the senior championship. Goat defeated General Strike from Winnipeg, and just an absolute spectacle watching the athleticism, because this is a sport that combines the subtleties of three different other sports. You've got the fitness level and the running that you'd see in soccer. You've got the pivoting and the quick movement of basketball, and then also you've got the scoring and the offense and defense of football, and it's with the combination of those three sports, this is a spectacle. Let's go down to field level. Here's Master of Ceremonies, Jean Maurici.
Il y a plus de 25 ans. I still play, coach youth with OQA and OJ Cup. I'm also a proud parent of 3 ultimate players. And tonight, it is an honor for me to be your MC for these opening ceremonies. On behalf of Ultimate Canada, we would like to begin by acknowledging the land that we will be playing on over the course of the week. Ottawa est le territoire traditionnel non cédé du peuple Anishinaabe-Algonquin. Nous sommes reconnaissants d'avoir l'occasion de jouer sur cette terre, et ce faisant, nous témoignons notre respect à ses premiers habitants. It is because of their care of the land that we will be able to play on the beautiful fields of Ottawa. We recognize that our being here came at a great sacrifice from the people of Turtle Island. To pay our respect, we too will care for the land we are on as we play our games and live our lives in what we now call Canada. Pour la procession d'entrée, les athlètes seront précédés par M. Ross Davidson à la cornemuse. M. Davidson est un enseignant de musique à l'école Holy Trinity, ici même à Ottawa. As a Highland bagpiper, Mr. Davidson currently plays with the Ottawa Police Service Pipes and Drums, a prize-winning ensemble that has secured top placing at piping competitions throughout North America. Now let's welcome our junior athletes as they enter the stadium, starting with our Team Canada athletes who are just back from representing Canada at the World Junior Ultimate Championships. Representing Ontario, Ignite, Scorch, Wicked West, Wicked East, Chain Reaction, Open and Women's, Toro, Whippin' and Women's, Uproar, Saga, and Saga Storm. Représentant le Québec, Argon Open and Women, Origine Open and Women, Titane Open and Women, Fringant, Golden, Sim et Golden Fringant.
Hello. There's no way.
Représentant le Nouveau-Brunswick, High Tide Open et Women's. Representing Manitoba, Caribou, Spitfire, Team Manitoba Open and Women, and ICE. Representing British Columbia, Canyon Open and Women, Dusk Open and Women, Dino Open and Women, Helios Open and Women, Nitro Open and Women, Rain, Vortex Open and Women, and Eclipse. Representing Alberta, Canada, open and women.
Come in.
Representing Saskatchewan, ladies, open
Teams
and women.
continue to walk into the stadium proudly. And, you know, the Olympics just wrapping up today. Summer McIntosh and Ethan, the hammer thrower gold medalist,
Open and women.
flag bearers. It's a smaller scale, but the honor is nonetheless just a tremendous thing to be able to carry your flag into a stadium.
Absolutely, and it does remind me of the Olympics, this procession of athletes representing their regions, the excitement, the pride, the uniforms, the athlete cards as well. You know, everything is so well organized here. I don't know if you've noticed, but every athlete is wearing their jerseys and their athletes cards, and everything is structured, and it feels very professional.
Well, and there again, they're teenagers. They're U19, so you have to be turning 19 after December 31st in order to be eligible to play in this. And just the discipline and the good humor and great character that they're displaying is something to see. And there you see the Newfies, the Storm from St. John, Newfoundland, wearing their sou'westers and nothing more appropriate.
I love that touch. It's such a nice touch to bring some fun to it and to be so visible on the field.
And the final flag behind the procession. There you see Toro. That's Canyon over there in the end zone. They're getting ready to open up this 2024 tournament.
Yes, Toro and Canyon are going to be competing against each other in this opening game.
And all kinds of wonderful players to watch in this one. Most notably, Kai Creed, number 7 for Toro, or for Canyon rather, from North Vancouver. This guy will play a lot. He'll be on the field a lot, and he's the kind of guy that just coaches love because of his level of versatility.
Absolutely, and he was one of the Team Canada under 20 athletes, and so he probably was wearing a red shirt because all of the athletes that represented Canada at the World competition are part of other junior teams, and so today they're wearing sort of both colors, right? They came in wearing that red jersey because they were Team Canada outside of Canada, but then they come in and they switch their shirts. And so Kai Creed is one of these athletes where he probably came in wearing that red shirt, and now he's put on his Canyon Open Team black shirt.
Well, he's got a game to prepare for now.
That's right. Now he's in this tournament, in these championships, and Canyon wants to fight for a spot, and so does Toro. And so this game is part of that pool that they're in. So both of these teams are part of one of those top 2 tiers of those pools, the top 2 pools. And so Canyon and Toro, Canyon is placed 2nd as part of Pool A, and Toro is placed 4th in Pool A. But it is anybody's game. These are just the initial seeds. It can go any which way.
One thing that's even more impressive and terrifying, if you're one of the players, is playing in front of a crowd this size. I don't know if they've ever experienced that.
This is a very impressive crowd, and it's an impressive crowd of their peers nonetheless. And so a lot of athletes who also know how to play. And it's the first day of the tournament. You know, sometimes you need to come in and the first few points, you need the nerves to settle. And so I think this just adds a lot to that level of difficulty in playing this first game in front of such a big stadium.
Keith Harris Stadium here at Tag Park on the campus of Carleton University holds about 3,500, which will definitely be the largest crowd that these kids, with the exception of Team Canada, have played in front of.
That's right. That's right. And today seems like the perfect day so far. So we're still having some sunshine, and it's about 20 degrees, just a little bit of wind, just enough to differentiate the good from the bad throws, Dan.
Sunshine now. About 4 hours earlier, it was monsoon season.
And it could come back. Yes, we never know with these showers. But let's keep an eye on the weather.
If you look in that deep end zone to your right, on the right side of your screen, you'll see Toro out of Toronto, and they have done some exceptional work to get again to this level, and you know that they're in their third year as a program and competing at the Canadian Ultimate Championships in all 3 seasons of their existence.
Right. They're a program that has sort of they're sort of like the phoenix. They're coming back from their ashes. They've taken it down and they've built it back up, and they're ready to come back strong, both on the open side and on the women's side. So really looking forward to seeing the Canyon program now, especially because, as I was saying earlier, they had such an ascension between their placement last year after National, where they placed 13th, and where they're seeded this year, where they're placed 3rd overall. So Canyon has been transformed this year.
Toro works out twice a week and usually into tournaments every second weekend. That requires a great depth of commitment by each of these athletes.
Absolutely. And Toro is part of the elite ultimate system, which is a system founded in 2014 by Evan Phillips and Carla DiFilippino. And that's the system out of Toronto, where they have sort of a regional pool of players, and they can group them and create teams out of them, and then they practice together, and it's a whole collaborative environment there. And so Toro out of the Toronto region, that team has a lot of depth, and really looking forward to seeing how they fare this year, considering, as I said before, they were ranked 7 at the end of Nationals last year and came in ranked 7 this year. So a reliable team.
And these elite programs really dedicate themselves to challenging each of these athletes with different kinds of moves that are required to play this game well.
Oh, that's such a good point. So as we see the teams warming up, you can see that they're really stretching different parts of their bodies, their legs, their arms, because there's a lot of athleticism. You were saying earlier about how it takes moves from basketball, pivoting, jab, steps from football, things like this. And so the athleticism is just really, really important. So the endurance as well, so the cardiovascular endurance is key. And we're going to see some of these players stay on the field potentially for the entire length of the game, which is no small feat considering how many cuts.
If they're playing both ways, absolutely. And then it's determining whether or not you can catch somebody who's tired late in the second half, crunch time, when the game's coming down to what could actually be a universe point.
It could. We don't know.
And if you don't have any gas left in the tank for a big play like that, you could get beat, and that could cost your team a championship.
Exactly. And so training the entire year, some programs start training in November in order to be ready for nationals. So the program will recruit and do their tryouts as early as November to identify which athletes were going to be part of this team. And then they have workouts and trainings and throw trainings all through winter into the spring and up to nationals. And so there's a lot that goes into building that endurance so that you can make it to that universe point.
Geography probably has a lot to do with it as well. Vancouver teams can train effectively year-round in that climate, whereas teams along the prairies and into Ontario and Quebec and in the Maritimes, winter is a whole different can of fish.
It's a different can of fish, but there are more and more now internal inside stadiums, right? So even a field like the one we're seeing today will be covered potentially by a bubble, one of those the white wraps. And so we're seeing a lot more of those being used by ultimate frisbee teams to practice on artificial turf year-round, really.
And field turf installed here at Carleton University and Keith Harris Stadium is in very, very good condition, despite the fact that it's gone through weather over the last 3 days. Over 100 millimeters of rain has fallen in this area. The field looks absolutely fantastic given what it's had to endure.
There were historic levels of rainfall over the last 3 days, like you said. Did you see the statistics? I believe it was since 1937 or something.
Okay.
This rainfall had not been seen for a very, very long time. And so that's the rain that has fallen over the last 3 days. And the fields for today, like you say, this field turf is going to be fine for today. For the rest of the tournament, the teams are going to be playing on Ultimate Parks Incorporated, UPI, in the south of Ottawa, in a place called Manotick. And there the fields are natural grass. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how humid those fields are.
There will definitely be some changes that the coaching staffs will employ in order to just make sure that their teams are ready to go onto this natural circuit. But Toro and Canyon are probably one of the only two teams, unless they make the final, that are going to get an opportunity to play on this surface.
Exactly. All the other games are going to be held on natural grass at that UPI location. So we're seeing the teams coming up and sitting up in the bleachers.
There's a Storm from St. John's, and how to sort of make an entrance. They know how to do it and do it well.
I hope they inspire teams next year to come with props, and make it fun for the entering parade. That's very fun. Good job on Storm.
Teams still filing into the assigned seating. It's a very orderly type of a procession that they've orchestrated here at the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships. It's gone reasonably seamlessly, but the teams are just now settling down, and the ceremonies will proceed from that point as well.
On the ends of the end zones, we can see from here that both Canyon and Toro are warming up, and they're running drills on either end of the field. Here we go, thank you. So this is the Canyon team that we're seeing on the screen, running some running drills to warm up the legs.
That's Toro to your right.
Oh,
Canyon to your left.
Oh, thank you.
They're both wearing dark jerseys at this point. Now, we're told that there will be a team. Toro will be in black, and Canyon will wear their white jerseys. This is what we've been told. We've yet to have that confirmed.
Yeah. I think we've been told Canyon dark and Toro white, but we'll see.
There you go.
I'm sure they will be updating us shortly.
Such a tremendous gathering and a convergence of ultimate in the nation's capital here on an evening that thankfully has turned out to be very, very comfortable.
Thank you.
Exactly.
the throng, please take your seats.
Here's Jean Maritzi once again.
It is now time to welcome our entertainment for the night. McKenna Rankin-Guérin is a Two-Spirit Anishinaabe and French-Canadian artist from Abitibi First Nation. As a traditional hoop dancer for over 7 years, she started collaborating with her talented brother Caleb Rankin-Guérin, who is a music creator and DJ, to blend traditional sounds with contemporary beats. Caleb pour cette incroyable performance. Il me fait plaisir de vous présenter le maire suppléant d'Ottawa qui voulait vous souhaiter la bienvenue. Deputy Mayor Ralston King. Escorting our Deputy Mayor are Coy Brook and Owen Degler, 2024 Team Canada players.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Jean. Good evening, and welcome to the Canadian Ultimate Championships. On behalf of Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, we are so fortunate to have more than 2,000 athletes, including 1,200 juniors, here in our city for this national competition. We're just at the start of a week of tournaments where teams from across Canada will compete against each other for the championship title. I want to congratulate you all for making it this far and bringing the spirit of teamwork and sportsmanship to these games. I have to say, Ottawa has the reputation of a city that welcomes all kinds of sports and competition, from hockey to football to lacrosse to baseball and so much more. Take, for example, next year when Ottawa will host its very first Ironman triathlon. The World Juniors will come to town in 2025, and we're excited the Northern Super League is launching next year, with Ottawa hosting one of the 6 inaugural franchises. If you add it all up, you come up with one clear thing. Ottawa is the place to play, compete, and win. And that's exactly what will happen over the next week with the Canadian Ultimate Championships. I must say, being a very proud alumni of Carleton University, I'm so excited to see these tournaments played out on this field and fields across the city. I know you'll bring an incredible strategy, athleticism, endurance, and a whole lot of fun to the pitch. Congratulations once again for making it this far. I'll be rooting for you, the mayor will be rooting for you, all of council will be rooting for you over the next week. Thank you so much. Merci. Thank you so much. Good luck. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor King. We would like to take a quick moment to thank Ultimate Canada official partners. Thank you to BE, Discraft, and Layout for your incredible support of Ultimate in Canada, and for your continued involvement in Canadian Ultimate Championships. Please put your hands together to welcome, s'il vous plaît, accueillir the event manager for Ultimate Canada, Liane Leduc, who would like to say a few words.
It might be too high for me. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Ultimate Canada, I would like to welcome you all to the 2024 CUC. First, I want to extend a huge thank you to all the teams, coaches, fans, and volunteers who have made this event possible. We are truly grateful for all of your hard work and dedication. I also want to express my gratitude for the local organizing committee who have come together to make this week unforgettable. Over the next few days, let's light up the fields with our skills, show respect for our opponents, and enjoy every thrilling moment. Get ready to cheer loudly, play hard, and make memories that will last a lifetime. Let's make this tournament one for the books.
Thank you for your kind words, Liane. J'invite maintenant les athlètes Lily Souping et Charles-Étienne Mérizy, les coachs Habib Attara et Justine Price, et les officiels Linda Couto et Hélène Marchand à s'avancer sur le terrain. They will take the athlete, coach, and official oaths.
In the name of all competitors taking part in the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships, I promise that we will compete with honor and respect. In the spirit of true sport, we will abide by the rules of the game and recognize the commitment of the tireless volunteers who make this experience possible, and will show them respect. We will uphold the spirit of the game in all circumstances, both on and off the field, while competing at the best of our abilities. We will strive for excellence, stay healthy in mind, body, and spirit, and have fun.
Au nom de tous les participants aux Championnats canadiens d'Ultimate 2024, je promets que nous compétitionnerons avec honneur et respect. Dans l'esprit sportif, nous respecterons les règles du jeu et reconnaîtrons l'engagement soutenu des bénévoles qui permettent cette expérience en démontrant du respect. Nous respecterons l'esprit du jeu en tout temps, tout en jouant au meilleur de nos capacités. Nous viserons l'excellence, de garder un bon moral, dans un corps et un esprit sain, et à avoir du plaisir.
In the name of all coaches taking part in the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships, I promise that we will coach in a manner that is consistent with the spirit of the game. We will model what we expect from all athletes: fairness, excellence, inclusion, and fun.
Au nom de tous les entraîneurs qui participent aux Championnats canadiens d'Ultimate 2024, je promets que nous dirigerons nos fonctions d'une manière qui correspondra avec l'esprit du jeu. Nous nous engageons à respecter les principes et à incarner ce que nous attendons des athlètes: franc jeu, excellence, inclusion et plaisir.
in the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships, I promise that we will work hard to observe these games with professionalism and impartiality. We will abide by the teams uphold the spirit of the game. We recognize that ultimate fundamentally is a self-officiated sport, and we will strive to assist participants in creating a respectful and positive sporting experience.
Au nom de tous les observateurs prenant part au championnat canadien d'Ultimate, je vous promets que nous observerons les matchs de façon professionnelle et avec impartialité. Nous adhérerons au principe de l'esprit du jeu et nous aiderons les équipes à en faire de même. Nous reconnaissons que l'Ultimate est un sport fondé sur l'auto-arbitrage et nous ferons tous nos efforts pour aider les participants à créer une expérience positive et respectueuse lors de ce championnat.
Thank you, players, coaches, and observers. The showcase game is now just a few minutes away. A few important notes. The canteen is open with snacks and drinks, accepting digital payment only. There is also a special show at halftime tonight that will be worth sticking around. Now it's time to meet the players competing in tonight's game. From Canyon, number 1, Nate Bernardi. Number 2, Beck Morissette. Number 3, Marcel Stutter. Number 4, Max Lee. Number 6, Finn Morissette. Number 7, Kay Creed. Number 8, Turo Calvert. Number 9, Daniel Mao. Number 10, Noah Orth. Number 13, Matthew Beavis. Number 17, Eddie Zhu. Number 19, Owen Stanforth. Number 20, Finley Gray. Number 21, James Haywood. Number 22, Lachlan Wood. Number 34, James Four Kelsey. Number 41, Cooper Woodman. Number 44, Arlo Muder. Number 71, Devin O'Reilly. Number 77, Zachary Bernardi. Number 87, Noah Calvert. Number 88, Nathan Chan. And number 94, Max Cappuccini. For Toro tonight, number 0, Malcolm Peters. Number 1, Cameron Bowens. Number 3, William Beveridge. Number 4, Kevin Tamayo. Number 6, Andrew Kerr. Number 7, Julian Lee. Number 8, Evan Edgo. Number 9, Eric C. Number 10, Grant Wee. Number 16, Archie Carlisle. Number 17, Max Kamalchev. Number 19, Lucas Lau. Number 21, Leo Shen. Number 23, Evan Derbyshire. Number 27, Karma Namgal. Number 30, Mikush Malimbam. Number 31, Kyle Leptan. Number 33, Grayson Silbinger. Number 34, Gavin Ho. Number 43, Jason Wu. Number 55, Samuel Xi. Number 81, Adam Liu. Number 95, Akash Nagbishvav. And number 98, Nicolas Su. Observing tonight's game are head observer Linda Kudo and Hélène Marchand. We would like to call the captains from both teams to the middle of the field for the first flip of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championship Junior Division presented by BE Ultimate. We have Canyon, who will be wearing black, representing BC, and Toro wearing white, representing Ontario. Captain, please. Captain, please.
Captain's coming for the official coin toss, and we are just about set for the showcase game and the opening game of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships here from Tag Park and Keith Harris Stadium on the campus of Carleton University in the nation's capital. Now, they're both wearing the dark jerseys at this point, but Toro will be wearing white. Is that what we are to anticipate?
That's what we've been told, Dan. So we're anticipating one of these teams is going to change their shirts because it would make it very difficult to follow if they were both dark.
I think not only for the fans in the stands, us in the broadcast booth, but even more difficult for the guys on the field.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is an important game, right? This is a high-stakes game. It is just the pool play, so both of these teams have qualified to be in the top 8 two top pools. So there are 2 pools of 4 teams each, and both of these teams are in Pool A. So they'll be looking to keep their spot in the top 8 teams.
So I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out. Who's going to get the opening pull? Who's going to have the first offensive series of the game? And in a game like this, you think coaches want to make an impact on the game very quickly.
Absolutely. They're going to definitely call their starting lines.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Here at the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships from the nation's capital.
Gabriel Pizza, proud supporter of local sports. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at gabrielpizza.com.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade. I hope you join us for an hour to give right here on Rogers TV. We're going to talk about everything that is going to inspire you about this beautiful city.
We're up against some really bad guys. They have to do all this Jason Bourne stuff.
So cool.
One last stunt, going down in a blaze of glory. You know, like Thelma and Louise.
They die at the end.
Exactly!
Welcome to Tag Park and Keith Harris Stadium on the campus of Carleton University in the nation's capital. It's the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships in the opening showcase game. Toro from Toronto taking on Canyon from North Vancouver. Dan Mooney along with Chantal Dussault. So pleased to have you along for the ride for this opening game of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championship. Chantal, this is pitting two of the top 8 teams in the junior open class.
It is, and this is pool play between these two top teams, and such, we can feel the nerves in the stadium at this point, Dan, because the teams have just gotten here either this morning or last night, and they flew in from, either the BC region for the Canyon team, and they came in from Toronto, and we're in Ottawa today, and so there's a lot of excitement and a lot of travel involved, and the stadium is full, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this game, and everyone is just so energized.
Players to watch in this one for Canyon, who are wearing the dark jerseys. Those folks right there are from Toro in Toronto. Toro, McCush wears number 30. He's got some pretty individual skills, not afraid to lay out, which is something that you see a tremendous amount in Ultimate.
Absolutely. Laying out is one of those skills that you want to learn how to do when you start. And it is a little bit more rare in the junior division to see players master that skill, which a layout is that the player will plunge and be in a horizontal position and either intercept the disc or go for a catch horizontally. And so looking forward to seeing if number 30, Mikush, shows us some of his layout happy defending skills.
Evan Derbyshire, a tall and powerful handler. He'll probably have the disc in his mitts a lot this evening, organizing the Toro offense. On the other side of the ledger, you go to Canyon from North Vancouver, and one of the top players in this division in these national championships, number 7, Kai Creed.
Right, because Kai Creed was representing Canada on part of Team Canada under 20, and so he's just this incredible athlete, and he will be playing a lot, I am sure, this evening and on every point throughout this championship, because he's just everywhere on the field. He's such a presence.
Weather has been a factor over the course of the last weekend here in the nation's capital. Over 100 millimeters of rain has fallen on the area. Some are desperately flooded. Montreal got hit really, really hard over the weekend as well. But the sun is out now, and it's an absolutely perfect evening for Ultimate.
It is, and we might even be lucky enough to see the sunset here tonight. And so just a beautiful evening in Ottawa, and teams finishing their warm-ups as we're seeing here on either side.
As far as the offensive sets that we'll see in this one, Canyon likes to use a hex offense. What exactly is that, Chantal?
This is a newer offense, Dan, and few of us have had the chance to play it. I know that Germany was big in playing that, and they started about 5 years ago, just to tell you how new this offense is. And this offense, it changes every paradigm. It changes everything we know about ultimate frisbee. Typically in ultimate frisbee, you'll have sort of a vertical or horizontal offense where you're sitting in a bit of a line, and everyone waits for their turn in order to be a good option. In a hex offense, you've got the handler sort of in the middle, and the other 6 players form a hexagon, a hex around the handler. And so it's the responsibility of each of these other players to become an option. So it breaks a lot of the usual thoughts that we have about ultimate frisbee and sort of, in quotes, waiting for our turn. Hex is much more dynamic. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Canyon puts that on the field.
While Toro also runs a hard man defense, and if Canyon has the ability to get into a huck fest, this could be a really interesting evening on that man-on-man coverage.
And I'm sure they have the handlers for it, because on both sides they have team members that are part of the competitive teams at the Canada level and that are also in some of the university teams. So this really is anyone's game at this point.
Defense is variable. Canyon likes to switch things up, or Toro likes to switch things up defensively. But it's going to be really interesting to see just how these two teams, it's almost like it's going to be a bit of a prize fight where the two teams just feel each other out for the first little while and get a sense for where they want to go.
Oh, yes. And the nerves are so high in this first game, right? The stakes are high, yes. You want to qualify. You want to be in the first 2 spots of your pool. That's for sure. But it's also, like you say, they're just feeling they're feeling each other out. They're feeling all their teams out. They're sort of ironing out the kinks in the beginning phase of this tournament.
This is the 4th time that the national championships have been held here in the nation's capital. The first one 37 years ago in 1987. And the game has grown in leaps and bounds since then. They've also hosted in 2011, 2017, and again here in 2024. Ottawa loves this game, and you know that the sport of ultimate is always going to come back here because of that feeling.
Absolutely. Ottawa has one of the largest playing communities in Canada, for sure. And I even started my own career in Ottawa myself about 25 years ago.
You played in these Canadian championships as a member of X Squad in 2016. What's the different level of preparation that you'll go into as a team to get ready for these national championships if you're lucky enough to get here?
Right. There are preparations on so many different levels. Of course, there's the strategy that's being taught by the captains and the coaches. There's also the athleticism. So you want to make sure that you're in shape. So you've got your workouts that you're starting, months, even the year before. You want to be in shape in order to be able to sustain these 4 days of competition. But there's also mental performance, and so mental training to sustain the stress and the pressure, because when you've got that disc in your hand, it's all about what decisions you make, and can you catch it, and can you focus it, can you concentrate,
and how quickly you can make that sound decision.
Exactly.
That's not going to affect your team with a turnover.
Exactly. So there's a lot of preparation, and then of course there's a lot of logistics, because the Canadian Nationals is held in a different location every year, and this year it's in Ottawa. So every team that's not from Ottawa has all of the logistics associated with it, which is non-negligible. This is a juniors tournament, and so the logistics of,
Is geography going to play a part in this one, you think?
It's an interesting question. Historically, it has not, and so some of the stronger programs do come out on top. So I think that after the nerves and the travel, energy expenditures have sort of finished settling in, I think we will see the top teams come up on top.
Well, for a fact, Vancouver and Newfoundland are probably going to have the biggest adjustments to make.
Yes. Sometimes one thing that can make a difference is the fans that are present at the games. And so if we're in Ottawa, for example, and sometimes there'll be more Ottawa fans at a game, and that can offer more support, that does make a difference. And it can be a little bit harder when you're competing against a local team to keep in your mental game.
Just about set to get things going. The observers for this one, Linda Kudo, Glenn Ford, and John Nelson will be in the expedition mode, I would be prepared to say, because they want to keep things going and without sort of overlooking the spirit of the game.
Exactly. And so observers you're going to see them on the field eventually. They're wearing a flashy orange shirt, and their role is really to observe and to help the teams make the calls that keep the game going, as you say, with keeping the spirit of the game. And so observers will make some active calls, like line calls or times, so they keep the time, but they will not interfere if there's a foul call or violation. They will let the players work it out. If it takes too long, they will come and they will come to a conclusion for the players. But typically, they prefer that players work out any disagreements right on the field by talking about it, and that's part of the spirit of the game.
We talked about Kai Creed on Canyon. One of the other players that will stand out in this one this evening, ladies and gentlemen, number 94, Max Kapuscinski. He is their number one handler, and you're going to see that that offense works if he's having a really good day.
Right, so Kapuscinski, he can make some very intelligent throws, and he's a very smart player. Sometimes he will take that throwing and right up to that risk level where it's, some other players might think twice about throwing that throw, but he's gonna risk it, and he's gonna try to make that throw. So that's number 94, Kapuscinski.
Toro in white on the right of your screen. Canyon in the dark jerseys with the dark shorts, red trim, or pink trim actually. There you see it. There's Nate Bernardi. 3 different brother sets on this Canyon team. The Bernardis. There's Nate and Zach. Nate wears number 1. Zach wears number 77. They are twins. 2 other brother combinations in their lineup. Beck Morissette, number 2, along with Finn Morissette, who wears number 6. And then the Calawart boys, Turo wearing number 8, and Noah wearing number 87. So
I love that story because, as we know, brothers will go out to the park, they'll throw together, they know where they're going to be, they know how they act. And so having pairs of brothers on a team, I must say, is a non-negligible advantage.
There we go, the opening pull. Kapuscinski sends it deep. And Toro will take it. Eric Shee has it inside his own end zone. There's almost a turnover. Almost a Callahan. Again, Toro having some difficulty. Little flip for number 98, Nick Sue. Sue gets that one up. And finally, Toro able to move the disc down the field. Can he catch up to it? Keeps it alive. Throws it back. What a grab! What a grab by Finn! Andrew Kerr, and they're in for the opening goal of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championship. You think they're happy?
There were so many great feats of athleticism on that point. There was the greatest. Okay, so first there was that long throw, which enable them to make a break for it. This is the greatest, which is
the miracle save.
That's right, the miracle save. And then that quick pass into the end zone. And so many great throws. In 95, I believe it was, who caught that first point. So what the greatest is when the disc is heading outside of the field and a player goes up and grabs that disc as it's heading outside, but still in the air. The player grabs it, controls it, and throws it back in, and then the player touches outside. So the disc is actually never out of bounds. It is still in bounds because the player hasn't touched outside yet. So that play is called the greatest, and it is rarely seen in Ultimate. And here Canyon gifts us with this first point, this amazing play.
Agash Nagabira gets the opening goal off a nice pass from Andrew Kerr, but the save along the sideline is what made that opening goal. And how often do you see the entire bench go out to celebrate a goal?
Yeah, that was a pretty high celebration there.
Now, Canyon with their first possession. Kapuscinski flips that one out. Beck Morissette moves it outside. Devin O'Reilly to Kapuscinski. They keep it alive. They almost gave it up there, and they move it out. Morissette, Beck Morissette moves it up. Haywood up the left side, forced back. Kapuscinski moves that up. Creed looking for the bundle. He's got it! A great grab there, Gavin. James Ford Kelsey with an absolutely wonderful huck from Kai Creed.
I believe that was there were so many great things on that point again, and so it's funny because the fumble at the end, which again comes from the nerves, probably enabled that player to come right into the end zone and catch the point right into the end zone. And there was good defense on that play. There were it felt like there was a zone that was being applied, but the handlers were able to walk through and really find those holes through and then make that long throw that led to the equalizing point. So it's Toro 1, Canyon 1.
Wow, if it's going to be like this the entire 85-minute hard cap, soft cap at 75, and we'll stop at 45 minutes on a hard number to take a break after the first half. But wow, this opening has been tremendous. Such skill exhibited on the first two possessions of this game.
Absolutely, and you're right, these were two possessions and there were no defensive plays that turned into a turnover, and that's the kind of level that you'll see at these championships. There's his own defense.
Derbyshire comes near side for G. Eric G has to flip it back. Derbyshire looking at what Canyon is showing him defensively and sends it all the way back. Derbyshire gets it back, looking for some time and space. Another little flip. That was for Evan Edgell. And there's a hammer tossed back the other way, and it's a turnover. Canyon with a great D, and now Kapuscinski picks it up and gets the offense going for Canyon. Creed lays out, moves that one inside the zone. Creed gets it back, dumps it into the end zone for the goal. Noah Calloward makes it 2-1 Canyon.
So as we were saying before, Kai Creed does not disappoint. We saw how crucial he was on that point. So not only did he throw the disc into the end zone for the point, but he was also the rabbit in that zone defense, which made it quite difficult for the handlers to get the disc out and force those handlers to make that long hammer throw that eventually turned into a turnover. And so Kai Creed being crucial on that point.
And we've seen the first break in this one with the great defense, great pressure defense by Canyon, not allowing Toro to get any time or space to work that hex offense.
Oh, exactly. So Canyon's defense was quite present in that zone formation and prevented any sort of fluid flow from the white team Toro. So Toro's going to have to readjust how they want to get team members available for some of those cuts, because it sounds like Canyon is very athletic and they're very present, and it's going to be tough to get that disc out. So the first break, because it is Canyon that had pulled and they made that point. So typically in ultimate, we always try it when we pull, the team that's receiving wants to make that point. That's sort of the normal flow. And so if there's any disruption in that, we call that a break.
Toro picks it up. They switch ends automatically after each point. Derbyshire moves that one up. Edgel. Force back, Derbyshire. Man right on him. Flips that one out. Ends up in the hands of Nick Sue. Sue back for Derbyshire. A little bit of progress for Toro here on their third possession. And we got a foul called. Back underway. Eric G. for Derbyshire. Evan Derbyshire. Pivots. Finds a man. Nick Sue. What a grab to keep it alive. Eric G. Up the right side, all the way down. Into the end zone for the goal.
A clinical throw by number 3, Beveridge, William Beveridge. And he's one of the captains on this team, and he knew exactly what he was looking for in making that long throw to his teammate into the end zone. And here we see the replay. Look at that, it was perfectly positioned right behind the other defensive player.
Goes short. Andrew Kerr, the recipient of a great feed from Beveridge. And we are tied at 2. And we're not even 10 minutes into this one, and we've been treated to some pretty impressive ultimate, and no doubt the 4,000 people in attendance, all from teams from across the country, are enjoying this one too.
This is a great game so far. The teams have been showing some great athleticism and just putting it long when it's the time to do it, which is impressive, right? Because it's all about decision making, and that last decision was a great decision with great execution.
Well,
is
Derbyshire just took little bites of yardage when he could get it, and then opened it up to the side, and then that tremendous throw from Beveridge to get Andrew Kerr into the end zone. It was a low pass. I thought that the defender might have had an opportunity for the D.
Again, some clinical precision here in the handling.
Eddie Zhu comes all the way near side. Daniel Mao. Mao throws that one, and it's dropped by Devin O'Reilly, creating another turnover and an opportunity for Toro. Gavin Ho into the end zone, grab there! What a toss from Gavin Ho! And Cameron Mones gives Toro a 3-2 lead.
With a celebration from the Toro team, and this is something we love to see, is when the whole team floods the field. And look at that. That's an unfortunate grab, and it happens to everyone. And especially at this early in this first game, it's just something that's to be expected. And shake it off and just come back, Canyon. And Toro capitalizes on that, of course. Look at that grab right out of the hands. Number 17 almost had a bit on it, Zhu, but that catch was well made.
One of the nice things about being so young is that they're not afraid to make a dangerous play, because they have this belief in themselves that they're going to be able to pull it off.
Absolutely, and you know what? They often can. So it's just about knowing where that line is of what you can pull off and what, you know what? Because if you keep possession, then you will be making that point. So it's about making enough progress on the field, but keeping possession.
So Toro will get this pull away and give Canyon an opportunity to get back on even terms here. Good pull. Canyon, they let it drop. Kapuscinski. Creed. 20 yards out from his own goal line. Here's Creed. Backhands that one out. Creed gets it back. Goes to the far side. For Eddie Joux. All the way down! Can't get it! Great attempt to find James Ford Kelsey. He was open in the end zone, but the disc just wouldn't sit.
That's right. That disc was a little bit fast, but what a great throw by Eddie Joux. Again, was it the right throw to throw at that time? No one will ever know, but it got them at the end of that field. So let's see if they can get it back.
Toro with the disc. Moving it up from their own goal line. Near side. Kevin Tamayo. Tamayo. Back out. Gavin Ho. Eddie Joux on him. To the far side for Carmanagio. And a foul call.
There's a lot of hard person defense going on here, and you don't see a lot of distance between the defender and the person who's on the offending team, so offensive team. Some strong defense.
There's the tap. We're in again. Long huck downfield again, looking for Tamayo. And that one batted away. A good defensive play there from number 87, Noah Callowart. And he's already got a goal in this one and a big D. So having a good opening few minutes here in the opening game of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships. There it is, the toss into the end zone for the goal. James Ford Kelsey with his second on a great little feed from Noah Callowart, and it is now three apiece.
Three apiece. So Callowart just being so instrumental on this point with that amazing catch that he just did right there, and then that put in the end zone, which was almost deed by the layout of that defender. Look how close those defenders are from the Toro side, but Canyon manages to snatch that right in the end zone.
The thing that was probably been most prevalent here is the pace of this one is frenetic at this point, but each of these teams are showing a tremendous amount of poise underneath that pressure.
Absolutely, they have poise. They're making quick decisions, and they're very usually great decisions. And have you noticed how much pressure they are under? Because the defender is within inches of them. I mean, on both of those last throws, the great catch by Noah Callowart, he had a defender on his back, and then in the end zone, same thing. There was a layout D made right behind him. So they don't have a choice but to do this quickly. So great level of athleticism and decision making.
There's Kapuscinski. Max Kapuscinski sends it down, and Toro goes on the offense. Derbyshire. Flip out to the right side. Derbyshire comes near side, finds Andrew Kerr, and then another turnover. Canyon not satisfied to wait until Toro brings something to them. They take it.
That zone defense is really working for Canyon.
Zach Bernardi. Bernardi with the forehand. Near side, finds Devin O'Reilly. O'Reilly goes left hand, back into the middle, and here's an opportunity to get it. Nate Bernardi from Findlay Gray, and Canyon up a goal. Once again, they lead at 4-3.
Exactly. So now Canyon takes the lead over this game. It really is anybody's game. And what I loved about those last throws was really the break side action. So you'll see here, there's a fantastic reset throw in the middle on the break side here. No chance for the defense to set up at all, and just some fantastic flow, which created a break side catch in the end zone.
What adjustments do you see either defense having to make in order to thwart the offenses? We've seen a couple of turnovers, but, you know, defense has been good. Do they need to make any adjustments, or is this feeling out process that we talked about earlier, is that still happening now?
I'm seeing both teams still feeling themselves out the other team, and I think that the Canyon zone defense has worked quite well for them. So if there's an adjustment I see so far, is really Toro working with their handlers to give some good options to break through the Canyon defensive zone. And what we saw in that previous point was not only the cup on the zone that created some pressure, but there was some poaching, or, well, really what the mids should be doing. They intercepted a throw that had been put up in the middle after that zone. So I think the Toro handlers have to adapt to the Canyon zone, which I'm expecting they're going to put on again here.
Disc goes out off the pull. That'll come out to the brick.
That's right. So it comes out to the brick, which is in the middle of the field. And we're seeing a group here of 3 Canyon players in dark, and that is their zone defense. So they make the formation of a bit of a wall or a cup or a V, depending on how they're playing it. Bit of a V today. And that makes it hard for the handlers to have any options.
The brick on these lined football fields is the 40-yard line. There's an errant pass, and it results in another turnover.
Yes, so again, the Canyon defensive zone is working against Toro. So I think that's the big adjustment that's going to happen if there's a timeout that ever gets called.
Little flip. James Ford Kelsey moves that one up. Finds Nate Bernardi. Bernardi looks left side. There's a slip. Zach Bernardi, his brother, gets it. And here's Ford Kelsey. Ford Kelsey throws that one looking for Kai Creed. Couldn't reach it. And it'll go back the other way. Right at their own goal line. Edgel moves that one up. Sam G moves out. Sam G has it now. Andrew Kerr for Edgel. Evan Edgel for Derbyshire. Evan Derbyshire moves that one back. Comes near side, Nick Sue. Derbyshire again. Toro in patience mode here. Edgel. Edgel. Derbyshire gets it back. Nice. And a little travel there. What's the stall count at this level?
So it'll be +1 of where they were at, or if it was higher than 6, it goes to 6, I believe. If it was higher than 6, it goes back to 6, or let me check on that. With all the revisions of the rules that I've updated over the years, I'll get back to you on that.
And the rules that apply specifically to this level.
That's right, so this level in this tournament. So let me just double check on the rules. So when there's a travel, it's because the team member made some changes in direction by the time they were slowing down.
Eric G. She moves that one up for Edgel. Beveridge almost has it knocked away, but Toro continue to move upfield. 25 yards out. Nice grab there by Sue. Nick Sue. Back for G, Eric G. There's a slip. G forced to drop it back. Derbyshire sends it right side. Sam G, Samuel G, Eric's brother. There's brother combinations everywhere in this one. Derbyshire moves that one out. Eric G. Little flip, great effort there by Ford Kelsey, but a foul called, just missing that defensive block.
The players are discussing it. They're using the observer to mediate. It's coming back on 2.
Little flip. Sam to Eric, the G brothers. Out. Nick Shue. There's another pass. Great grab there, and the flip for the goal! Eric G from Beveridge, and William Beveridge looking like the Gretzky of Junior Open Ultimate right now with a couple of fantastic helpers.
Yes, it sounds like they did adjust their playing. So Toro, just some amazing handling from the white team here, and we must say how tight the defense was by Canyon and Dark. We saw that last layout by Kai Creed, number 7, and just amazing pressure. But what Canyon did on this is that they maintained that pressure, but what Toro did is that they were very patient with the disc. This level of patience takes a lot of training, and so hats off to Toro for maintaining their composure and just working it all the way through and making the right decisions right into the end zone.
These two teams trading punches right now. They are, and the coaching staff on both sides of the ledger have to be so pleased with the way they've opened this tournament up.
Absolutely. I mean, they're great ambassadors for the entire sport, and so I'm sure that both of the coaching staff for each of these teams is just pleased with how this is going, because it's tied. It's a tied game.
Quick look at Karma Namgyal. Out there getting set to get underway once again. 4-4. We have been treated to a tremendous opening for this 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships from the nation's capital. Dan Mooney alongside Chantal Dussault. So pleased to have you along for the ride. Little flip. Near side. Eddie June. Forehand. Finds Beck Morissette. Morissette back for Eddie June. June. Little toss into the end zone. Nice defensive play there by Kevin Tamayo to break it up.
The defense is so close to all the offense. I mean, close need to be clinical again.
Eddie June with the defensive play and a foul called by Karma Namgyal.
Right, so a foul can be called if the player thinks that they had a real chance to catch that, which clearly number 27, Namgyal, thought that he could have caught it had it not been for this contact. And so they're going to discuss it and come to a resolution.
It's too bad because Canyon had a bit of momentum going there.
Absolutely. We'll see what the resolution comes out with. But good momentum, definitely, and great defense on the flip side. So
Kevin Tamayo had that one, but I guess somebody could have put a little more mustard on that toss, on the pass, because the disc just sat up and it was kind of wavering.
At the same time, you need for the disc to be there for your
I appreciate
offensive.
the touch involved. There is touch involved.
You can't have a laser throw, right? Laser throws are very difficult, so it's got to be somewhere in between. And I think probably the handler didn't anticipate the defense being so close and so aggressive, because honestly, it's very rare that these teams play against another team that is of their level, right? So you don't necessarily expect that level of defense on yourself. This is a very high-performing game.
So it's going in Canyon's favor. much to the chagrin of Carmen Angel. Eddie Zhu moves that one out. O'Reilly for Zhu, right on the doorstep. Zhu forced back. Morissette into the end zone. Nathan Chan gets the goal, and Canyon goes up 5-4.
What I found really interesting about the end of this point, and look at them all celebrating. There's such a endearing team. What I found really interesting about the end of this point is look at this discipline. The end zone was all stacked up vertically, and there was the one cut that came from the back, which gave it all the room on the break side of that end zone. And so that break side end zone was completely open because of the discipline of the Canyon team. They were lining up and they were waiting. They knew what to do.
5-4. 12 minutes away, or maybe 17 minutes away from the break, because, well, the way these guys are going, it might be another 35 or 40 seconds before one team gets to 8 and we take a break.
That's right. There's going to be halftime at 8. And it's the first team that reaches 15 will be the end of the game. So it's hard to say how long that will take. But so far, the points have been very efficient, surprisingly so.
Queen rocking Keith Harris Stadium. And it's not only Freddie and his gang, along with Brian May, John Deacon, and Roger Taylor. It's these two Ultimate teams to open up the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships. Here's G, Eric G. Foul called. Somebody call a travel?
The player was making travel type hand signals.
Creed taps it in. Derbyshire for Eric G. G back out Derbyshire. Creed right on him. Kai Creed trying to provide a defense, make it difficult, and stall count?
Possibly. So players only have 10 seconds to throw the disc. And I must say, it's been quite a while now that number 23, Derbyshire, has had the disc in his hands. So it's possible that Kai Creed has called for, it's been 10 seconds, which we call a stall. So if Creed said the word stall, that means he believes that it's been 10 seconds. And if that's the case, it would be a turnover, and Canyon would gain possession. But they've agreed to bring it into, I believe, 8 or 9 now. So it should be a fast throw by Toro.
Toro looking to tie it up. Derbyshire gets that one in, almost batted away. Edgell. Evan Edgell looking for Derbyshire, looking for any kind of help he can get. And again, another 10-second stall count violation, perhaps. We're gonna have to mic up these players.
Yes. It could be a time, or it could be a marking foul. It could be so something happened between the two players. They're working it out. They're ready to put it back in.
Beveridge in his familiar right side position. Beveridge, little toss up for Derbyshire. Back for Eric G. And Kai Creed getting a little too familiar.
This Canyon defense is very efficient, and having the Toro handlers work double shift right now. They're having to find creative solutions to get someone open.
G. Derbyshire back in his own end zone. Being pushed there by Lachlan Wood. There's a 50-50 disc, and Kapuscinski knocks it into touch. The turnover happens, and an opportunity here for Canyon.
Absolutely. Derbyshire didn't have many options, so.
The hammer! Creed made the catch, but Eric G right there to say, no, he dropped it.
Yes, it seems like number 9, Eric G says there was not control and the disc touched the ground.
Here's a look. There's Kapuscinski with the hammer.
Still a fantastic throw, but a fumble. So the question is...
He caught it back between his legs. If we can get another look at that, Mike, if we can.
No, but if he caught it between his legs and only gained control on or outside the line, then it was out. Because the line is out, and so...
Well, Toro's getting the disc back, so it's going to be a turnover.
Still an amazing catch, an amazing catch.
Here's another look from our end zone camera. He caught it between his legs, but G insists that the disc hit the ground.
Or that it was on the line. The white part is line and line is out.
Oh, a breakdown in communication as the disc slid through about 9 sets of hands like gas station sushi. There's a long huck once again. Ford Kelsey comes down with it. His 3rd goal of the game.
And it's been good to see some mix-up of short throws and long throws, and that was definitely a very nice long put. So a good pass here by Creed, and then Kapuscinski to put it along right into, and he had two potential options here to catch that disc. And so he knew what he was doing. He said, one of those two is definitely going to catch it. I know my team members, and they did.
So Canyon opening up a little bit of a gap here, the first 2-point advantage of this first half.
It is, and I didn't see the call, but it looks like a timeout has been called on the field because both teams are huddling in the center of the field here. We were looking at replays, but that would make a lot of sense just to keep that momentum in check by the Toronto team Toro, just to make sure that Canyon doesn't get away from them.
That and the fact that you may want to give your players a little bit of a breather too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both teams have been playing incredibly well. The level of athleticism and closeness in all of these calls. I mean, there hasn't been not one easy throw. I mean, from both teams, the level of presence of the defense has just been.
Yeah, both teams have come out really, really hard on the defensive side of the disc.
They're suffocating the offensive team, and so I think that's going to be what the coaches are talking about a lot right now is give more options to your handlers and how to shake off that D, which is not going to be easy, let me tell you.
No. So Canyon now with a 6-4 advantage. Toro called the timeout to basically just settle everybody down, know what their game plan, remind them of their game plan once again. It's been successful in the first 25 minutes of this one. It can work for the rest of it too. And sometimes when you're dealing with younger athletes who might have a little stubborn streak in them, they just that subtle reminder is sometimes just enough.
And maybe just, as you say, maybe just to calm the nerves, because we saw a few turnovers on that last point, and that was uncharacteristic. If you remember the first 2 points, there was no turnover, and so it was much more clinical, much more, high probability throws, high probability catches. So maybe just to say, hey, come back to basics, and let's just do what we know, and let's just get this done. So Toro receiving the disc now, and it's their chance to bring the score closer.
Well, that'll come out to the brick, the 40-yard line, and Toro will start off with pretty decent field position here, certainly outside the shadow of their own goal line. And with Canyon's defense being as tenacious as we've seen, best, if you're going to turn it over, best to make them work a little bit. Max Tomash into the game for the first time. Little spin for Mikush. Mikush getting his first time on the field as well. Mikush has it now. Sends that one out. Tomasz. About 5 yards out. Little flip. Here's Tomasz once again. Tomasz looking to go forehand. And a big collision about 2 yards deep into the end zone. And that's Mikush Ray Malamban. And a yellow card being issued.
The yellow card signaling that that was more than non-incidental contact, and that is not something that's tolerated.
I believe that's Marcel Studer.
Can't quite
Number
see.
3.
Mm-hmm.
So his first statistical note is a reprimand. Here's Edgell, Evan Edgell. Forced back out, made the catch just outside the goal line. Nate Bernardi on him. Here's Edgell, little toss into the end zone. What a grab by Mikush. And he got hit in the head. And once again, that's Marcel Studer with the swat. He was just issued a yellow card.
Yes, but I am 100% certain that Studer did not do any of that on purpose. And Studer, you know, he's on that team and he works really hard to be part of that team. He spends 3 hours each way to transit to practice, and he makes exceptionally big plays. So I think that it's just sort of his enthusiasm that's gotten the better of him here. And luckily in Ultimate, we do have the rules in place to call that out and work it out on the field. So unfortunate contact there, and hopefully that player is okay.
It was actually the foot.
Was it the foot?
It was, yeah, it was Studer's foot when they were both going up for the disc. As Mikush made the big grab for the disc, he was diving. He was in midair, and Studer's boot came across and hit him in the top of the head.
That was hurt, yeah. So hopefully he's okay.
6-5. Gotta admire Toro. No quit.
They came back strong on that point, Dan. They meant business. I think that the coaching staff probably put on sort of their all-star line and just called on a power line to make sure that the game doesn't get away from them. And we could definitely see that. On the Canyon side, the defense had changed a little bit, and they made some switches. It was a bit of a switchy D, and I don't think that worked for them. So I don't know if we'll see that sort of defense again.
Big pull from Carmanagial. Drops down, and another new lineup. There's Kapuscinski over the middle for Creed. Creed looking downfield once again. He dropped it in and out of the hands of James Haywood. He had it, couldn't hang on.
Sometimes that happens, and we call that that kind of D, ghost D.
Right back at you, says Toro, with a huck of their own. Here's Cam Moans. Moans looking for some help. Into the end zone once again, just outside. Grant Wee. Back out. Namgyal drops in another turnover.
Uncharacteristic drops by both teams during this point.
Fast and furious here in the opening and tail end of the opening half. Kapuscinski, Max Kapuscinski. Long forward hook, too far for Beck Morissette to scoop up.
So Kapuscinski just putting up that forehand throw, but it just seems like it never lifted the way he thought that it would. So the wind is not so strong, but it has picked up, Dan. So the wind is going from closer to a screen to the end of the screen.
Kapuscinski with a big D along the far sideline to get the disc around midfield. Just on the Toro side of midfield. Kapuscinski, Haywood, back for Creed. Haywood has it again. Creed gets it back at the 45. Kapuscinski back out for Creed. Lets him sail into his hands. Little flip into the middle. Zhu. Kapuscinski back for Creed. Kapuscinski for Creed. Gets it down into the end zone. He's got Noah Callowert once again. And Canyon gets on the board and regains their 2-goal advantage.
What happened there was that Adam Liu thought that he had a bid and potentially could make a defense, and so he left his offensive player. Here we'll see in the replay. So here we go. Creed catches that, and that's where number 81, Liu, had left his player, number 87, all free. And so Noah Callowert said, I know what to do with this poach. And he went right for the end zone and caught that disc in the end zone.
Well, Noah Callowert's second goal of the game, but most importantly, from a Canyon perspective, Kai Creed is working some magic. 3 assists already.
We've seen Kai Creed be a very important handler, and so has Kapuscinski, who we're seeing on the screen right now. Those two, they know each other, and they will put discs up that team members who do not know each other would not put up. Like you were saying before, they let it sail for each other.
Well, they got the wave going here at Keith Harris Stadium on the campus of Carleton University in the nation's capital. 7-5, Canyon leading Toro. Canyon from North Vancouver. Toro from Toronto in this, the opening game of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships. G finds Derbyshire. Derbyshire, little toss. Edgell has it now. Marcel Studer on him. Far side. Nick Sue. Sue into the middle. Finds Gavin Ho. Ho up for Eric G. G. Edgell. Little flip into the corner, right into the hands of G. Ran to the open spot. Sue with it now. Back out for Derbyshire. Evan Derbyshire trying to find some space. That disc was going up, but Eric G was able to bring it down. G, and a good defensive play there. Nate Bernardi got his left hand in the way.
Totally anticipated that and was right there at the right time.
Back comes Canyon, looking to expand their lead. Devin O'Reilly. Nate Bernardi, near side. Beveridge on him defensively. Little flip right into the hands of Kapuscinski. Kapuscinski, nice flip downfield. Finds Zach Bernardi into the end zone for the score. Kai Creed makes it 8-5 Canyon.
Some great handling by Toro that led up to an unfortunate turnover. But yes, Canyon putting it up in the center, making the choice to send it open side to Kai Creed, who's by himself. And you can just see the power in that cut from Kai Creed. He's got a good level of athleticism and power in being able to get there and sprint.
When these players graduate from this junior level, which is under 19, what are their options after that?
So there are options on the regional level. So at the local club level, they will have, at the regional level, they will be able to play other senior teams. So after 18, it's seniors. And there are different levels of senior teams that play. Oh, and here we're seeing some fireworks, which is lovely for our halftime show.
We are at halftime with that last point. The Canyon team from North Vancouver have an 8-5 advantage. We'll take a break. You probably need to get a beverage, perhaps a sandwich. Come back and join us for the second half of this 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships from Carleton University in the nation's capital.
Gabriel Pizza, proud supporter of local sports. Gabriel Pizza, home of the bigger, better pizza. Now available online at gabrielpizza.com.
Hey, sports and recreation clubs, got an upcoming event you want to share? Get the word out with Rogers TV Channel 22. Our community billboard service is free for all local events. Whether it's a fundraiser, festival, or fun run, we're here to help you spread the word. Visit rogerstv.com/communitybillboard to submit your event details today. But there's more, right, Jillian?
That's right, Vera. Attention charity and volunteer organizations. Do you have a special event coming up? Share your message with the entire community on Rogers TV Channel 22. Our community billboard service is free for all community events. Whether it's a service, fundraiser, or community outreach, we've got you covered. Visit rogerstv.com/communitybillboard to submit your event details today. Let's spread the word and bring our community together with Rogers TV Channel 22.
They've reached the summit!
Back-to-back Stanley Cup victories.
Greatness.
And a new legacy begins!
Absolutely amazing.
It has happened in Vegas.
It's not a destination.
And lightning has struck twice.
It is a continuous journey that never ends.
These are the moments you dream of.
Stanley Cup champions.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade, host of Ottawa Business Matters. We're going to gather here every single week and speak about business here in the capital. We're going to inspire, influence, and inform.
Welcome back to Tag Park on the campus of Carleton University, Keith Harris Stadium in the nation's capital. Team Canyon from North Vancouver showing absolutely no signs of travel legs. They really began to dominate the latter half of that opening half here to get a 3-goal lead going into the second half. That sometimes, in your experience, Chantal Dussault, I'm certain that 3-goal gap is enough.
Sometimes it can be enough. Sometimes that 3-goal gap can be difficult to bridge, but what would be even more worrisome for Toro is if Canyon has adjusted their level of play to match the Toro players, and I believe some of that is happening. So what we've seen is that the Canyon defense has really adapted, and they're playing such a strong defense and a lot of zone defense, and the Toro handling team is having a bit of a problem getting that disc through. So I think that's what's been happening. Just Toro, working so well and throwing extremely well, but the Canyon team in dark on the screen.
Lots of highlights in this opening half. These two teams really both came out to play, and that was the opening offensive possession of the game.
That might be the best opening point I've ever seen in my life.
And there's James Ford-Kelsey. 3 goals in that opening half for Canyon, but you can't overlook the play of Kai Creed. A goal and 3 assists that, and Kapuscinski, Max Kapuscinski as well.
These are
talking to a couple of people, and before this one, Kapuscinski may be a little volatile as a handler, but he certainly didn't indicate that in the opening half.
No, absolutely not. And Kapuscinski being such a key handler, and we're seeing some of the great moments here of the first half. We're seeing Canyon just being present, but see Toro, not one to be underestimated.
No.
Making some good decisions.
Well, what adjustments are they going to have to make in the second half in order to... They need 3 quick possession turnovers.
Absolutely, and so I believe that they cannot afford to make any sort of long throws that would be hanging or But look at that grab. Look at how athletic that grab was. An unfortunate contact between the foot and the head, but that was such an amazing grab.
There's Kai Creed feeding Noah Calloward. He had 2 goals. And there's Kapuscinski getting it up. Zach Bernardi and Kai Creed.
Kai Creed, just the powerhouse, not even needing to lay out for that because gaining enough speed from the sprint.
Well, had he laid out, he may not have been able to stay in bounds.
That's a good point. Maybe he was pacing himself. Yes, so really, I mean, I think Toro can come back, and I'm sure that's what they're talking about, and we should not underestimate them because they will be adjusting. And they're
8-5. What's really impressive, in consideration of the fact that these athletes are basically maximum 18 years old, is their disc handling and just their knowledge of the game.
This is where you see how much the sport, how far the sport has come over the last few years, because this level of play at a junior level, they can only be 18 or under. They cannot be more than 18 years old to play in this tournament. And so it's just an amazing level of control and decision making and an athleticism and skill with the disc and skill of positioning yourself on the field on both sides. I mean, we've seen so many great displays for such young players, as you say. Very impressive. They both can be very proud of the display that they've put on tonight. What a fantastic opening game.
All the organizers could not have wished for a better matchup to start this tournament.
Absolutely.
Toro with the opening pull, and Canyon takes it. Devin O'Reilly. Zhao. Eddie Zhao. Has it back again. Forced to move it back. O'Reilly comes near side. Nathan Chad brings it down. Stays in bounds. Drops that one off. And Korchinski had it knocked away there from Cam Mones.
Kapuscinski indicating that was a strip or a contact that made him lose control. Players are discussing it. We're going to request the assistance of the observer. We're still discussing it. So this is one of the particularities of the sport, Dan, is that players do discuss what happened and have a chance to call it for themselves and see what's fair in both of their opinions. Observers come and they listen to the discussion to see if they're asked to weigh in on the call. They will. The players have decided for themselves.
Do more of these situations occur later in a game when you get a little tired?
It can, yes. And later in a tournament, you're right. You're right.
Chan moves it back. Kapuscinski. Far side. Eddie Zhao touched it and came up with the catch. All the way back. Daniel Mao loses control. The turnover, and this is what Toro needed. They move the disc down about 15 yards out. Lay it out. No catch. But a tremendous effort by Noah, or make that number 30, Mikush Ray Malamban.
And those are the throws that ideally would be caught so that Toro could make up that difference.
A little more air underneath that disc, and Mikush probably would have come up with it.
Exactly. It doesn't take much. I'm sure they can adjust.
Eddie Zhao. Zhao moves it back. Mao. And Zhao play catch. Here's Zhao, flips that one to the sideline. Big collision there as both members of Toro went on the defensive play. Kevin Tamayo crashing with Karma Namgyal, and what a collision that one had to hurt.
That was a very high velocity collision for both team members.
Namgyal is getting a yellow card.
So both players trying to get that, but one of them had visibility and could have stopped running. But sometimes, again, it's some of those decisions that need to be made in a split second. It's not always obvious.
Should I stay or should I go?
Exactly. And they both want this game, right? They want to make up this point difference. So,
well, every game is so important in a 3-game kind of establishment phase of a tournament. You want to make sure that you've got some momentum going into the crossover round, and then, of course, the top 8 or the final 8 in the tournament.
No, exactly. Every game is important, and so they're going to fight for it. And that's what we're seeing on the field right now. They're taking this very seriously, as they should.
Nick Sue in discussions with Nathan Chan.
See a very disciplined offensive strategy of a vertical stack by Toro in white.
Bernardi. Archie Carlisle out there now. Carlisle throws that one. Makouche catches up to this one. And Toro back within 2.
Great to see that team flooding the field and celebrating this very disciplined point. So great to see by Toro. They wanted it, and they're very happy to celebrate it. So number 16, making the decision to go break side and throw it up, and it did float this time, Dan.
Yeah.
And was caught by number 30, Makouche Rage.
So nice to see Archie Carlisle just getting into the game on his first shift, and he gets an assist and helps his team get back into this one.
Exactly. Every team member is important, and sometimes it's even the players that we're not mentioning that are critical.
The 2 defenders for Toro on that last series, Kevin Tamayo and Karma Namgyal, sort of congratulating each other. That turnover led to the goal.
That's another way to see it, absolutely. And so they're leaving it all on the field. What we've seen from Toro on this point was really that high level of defense, so being really, really present and really wanting that disc. And they did get it back, and then when they did get it back, I saw a high level of patience and discipline, and it made that difference for that point.
Good pull as Canyon. It landed in and then rolled or drifted out, so no, they're going to give him the brick.
It must have been, oh, it was an offside.
There you go, offside is the call. That's why the disc comes out to the brick.
So the offside is when the pole is thrown, but the other team has started to run before the pole was released.
Here's Creed. Creed to the outside. Little flick for Kapuscinski. Kapuscinski at midfield. Doesn't see anything, comes back. Morissette moves it out near side. Callowert for Creed, back to Noah Callowert. Creed. Little forehand for Kapuscinski. And good movement by the Canyon Cutters. Try to find that open spot. Here's Creed getting it to the outside. Knocked down. Another aggressive defensive play there. And a penalty foul called by James Haywood. But I think both coaching staffs have to be impressed with the aggressive nature on defense.
They do, they do. I believe that was number 81, Adam Liu, who called the foul.
So it looks like Canyon's going to get the disc. And they do. Here's Creed. Creed goes to the far side. Oh, Kapuscinski, despite a great defensive play, able to make the grab. Creed to Kapuscinski just outside. Little flip, and Canyon scores once again.
Canyon, they know exactly where their players are going to be. They know what to expect, and they know the level of athleticism and of predictability between those players. And so Creed knew that by throwing that up a floaty to Kapuscinski, Kapuscinski would run right into it. Look at that. Look at that lead pass. Kapuscinski caught it, and the defender that thought that they had a bid on it had left their player in the end zone. But that poach was...
Now, we've been witness to just how significant Max Kapuscinski's contribution has been in this one. That's his first point. And how many times have you seen that? Handlers touching the disc the entire game and getting maybe one or two helpers?
Well, yes, because typically a handler will stay back, and they'll be like a quarterback in football, right? They won't necessarily make the catches in the end zone. But Kapuscinski has been instrumental in the back there, especially with Creed. They've been throwing it back and forth, and just they know where the other one is going to be, and they can predict, and they put it up in the air. And that's what Ultimate Frisbee is all about. It's a game of open spaces, and so the point is to put it up in an open space where you know that your team member is going to get to it before the other team, and they've done that amazingly well.
But that goal reestablishes a 3-point advantage for Canyon. Let's see what Toro comes back with answer-wise.
We must say that Toro has been very present. I mean, they have done everything right so far. They're putting the level of energy, the athleticism, the aggressiveness. So they're fighting for it.
You know they're going to have some level of response here. Eric G. Derbyshire gets it back, comes near side. Evan Edgell back into the middle. Toro content to just chip away, move the disc to the outside, and a foul called by Zhao, saying that Kai Creed was using his feet.
That he was traveling.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a travel called on the handler, so it goes back to the handler.
I suppose that was one way to illustrate it.
That's one way to illustrate it. Exactly. Mimes, such a big part of Ultimate.
Chow. Derbyshire. Back to Zhao. Or make that G. Far side. Gavin Ho has it again.
We can see that defense, cup zone defense that Canyon is putting on. Very difficult to pierce.
Sue back for Derbyshire. It's been a long possession for Toro, but they're not moving up the field.
They're not. They can't make much progress against that defense.
Derbyshire has Beveridge wide open, but very quickly James Ford Kelsey got back. Now Toro moving it up, getting a little space. Derbyshire throws that one up, and it's knocked down. Here we go. Marcel Studer to the far side. The disc kind of sits up. Findlay Gray
and a
calls a
timeout. Mm-hmm. I think that number 20, Gray.
Well, they want to get their offensive players onto the field.
They can't switch out they can't switch out team members on a timeout call. But maybe they just want to get their heads back in the game as an offensive an offensive team.
You might want to contribute that to the rules committee and get it changed.
That's right. I mean, a few good movements by Toro to break that zone defense that Canyon is putting on. I mean, the thing that's working for Canyon is that they're applying their zone defense in a very wide geometry, and so it's difficult for Toro to have sort of any angles or any options of throws to get through that cup. But what Toro did well in that last point is that once they pierced that cup, bang bang, they went very quickly up the field. Of course, that flow stopped at one point, and then there was a turnover again. But I think that Toro, at least in this last point, realized, hey, it is possible to pierce the cup. So be patient, keep swinging it, and when you have when it pops through, just capitalize on that.
They had William Beveridge open up field about 30 yards up, but they couldn't get him the disc. I think they ultimately saw him, but then they saw James Ford Kelsey moving back into a defensive position against Beveridge, and that window was gone.
It was gone because Canyon's defense is very present, very aggressive, and right on.
Creed comes all the way back near side. Marcel Studer. Studer in for Creed. The return feed for Studer. He's got it. Comes to a halt. Looking into the end zone. There's Studer still with it. Forced back. Ford Kelsey into the end zone for the goal. Number 77, Zach Bernardi. Making it 10-6, although what have we here?
We have a bit of a travel call, so number, can't see from here, but the defender, number 23, is saying that there was some travel because he lost his pivot when he threw, so he changed his pivot point, which is the equivalent of a travel. And so
it'll come back?
It comes back to the thrower.
And the lead stays at 3 for the moment.
For the moment, though they're still discussing what's going to be the outcome of this call. So both players miming what's happened. And they can ask players who have the best perspective. It doesn't have to be them. They can ask whoever they know have best perspective.
The way these two teams came out in their first two possessions, I thought this was going to be like a 35-minute game to 15. It's 9-6 now, and we're deep into this one.
We're deep into this one, but both teams, I think, have sort of increased their levels of defense and of just you know, they're making it much more difficult for the other team, and so we've seen some turnovers because of that. And here we see the observer saying, okay, you figured it out, let's go.
Derbyshire taps. We're back in. Studer. Ford Kelsey for Kai Creed into the end zone. Right into the hands of Noah Calloward, his third of the game. And Canyon starting to pull away.
Canyon is starting to pull away, and we're seeing just a little bit more success on the defense by Canyon. And here, look at the quality of this throw by Kai Creed. Look at how it's going to float and be exactly at the right location, so that number 87 can run right into it without slowing down. So Noah Calloward, able to capitalize on that and make that score. And I like how they worked out on that last point. They worked out the travel call. So I also like the outcome of it, because I personally, from my standpoint, saw that so I was glad that the throw went back to the thrower, because changing your pivot point gives an unfair advantage to the thrower, because the mark is sort of marking with a given pivot point in mind. And so I think that was a fair call, the travel. It went back to the thrower. Canyon was able to still make that score.
From a coaching perspective, at what point do you say, okay, boys, we got to open up the offense?
Well,
down by 4. Down by 4. We got to open it up now.
If I was the Toro coaching staff, I would have said that when they were leading by 2. So leading by 4, it's I'm sure that a power line has been put on right now, and we could check it out. But definitely, this is the time to put the power line on.
Toro at their own goal line. Malcolm Peters out to the far side. Peters gets it back. Kai Creed on him. Here comes Toro, little floating disc. There's the interception by Kapuscinski. 5 yards out into the end zone for the goal. Nate Bernardi, his second of the game, and it's now 11-6. And Toro down by 5, an almost insurmountable lead the way the Canyons defense is playing.
Almost insurmountable, but so here we see the high throw, and these are the kind of throws you cannot put up when Kapuczynski's in the area. So Kapuczynski just grabs that right out of the air and sees an opportunity of his teammate who's cut in the back of the end zone. And we have number 1 Nate Bernardi catching that. So yes, almost an insurmountable lead at this point. And it's also in the momentum of the game, right? So we're seeing that Canyon has that momentum. They've figured out how to do that defense. That defensive zone is working extremely well against Toro. Toro's having trouble getting through that zone, and so that's working. And then on the offense, they know how to put up that throw right in front of their throwers. They anticipate where their handler is going to be, and they haven't missed much. So I think that the momentum is with Canyon at this point.
What are you sensing from their body language at this point?
They're already celebrating, right?
No, Canyon for sure.
Yes.
But Toro.
Oh, Toro. I mean, I think they're trying to say to themselves, let's go. We can do this. And that's what but they're feeling a bit down. But come on, Toro. You can do this.
Well, they're definitely going to try and pick it up in front of a good crowd that has thinned out a little from when this game first opened, and the opening point was an unbelievable point with some great athletic ability, and the 4,000 here just absolutely loved it. Yes. Too. What a start.
Well, we must say that many teams are playing tomorrow morning at 8:30, and it's 8:45 p.m. right now. So some of the teams just need to get to bed, quite honestly, at this point.
Another turnover by Toro as Kapuczynski picks up the disc.
Bit of a foul call on the mark there. The thrower is saying, hey, you were blocking my way.
Max Tolmash, the offending party. Hammer over the top for Creed. Creed back out. Kapuczynski sends it up into the middle for Creed. Creed looks into the corner and wide open. Zach Bernardi for his second goal. I don't think we've seen somebody that open all evening.
No, exactly. And we saw also coming up to it how Creed and Kapuczynski just anticipate each other. I mean, look at that. Put it up in the air. Creed just having a look and then deciding to do that clinical throw on the break side, bit of an angle with a little bit of wind, no problem finding Bernardi.
Second time that Zach Bernardi and Kai Creed have hooked up. Creed got his only goal of the game, the last goal in that opening half from Bernardi, and Creed just repaid the favor.
There we go. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So another timeout called here.
I believe that's a quid pro quo.
Oh, quid pro quo.
An ultimate quid pro quo.
That's probably what it was, yes. And those guys are very used to playing with each other. They have a tight-knit team, and they're in North Vancouver, and they're not with the other Vancouver program, the Big Prime program. So they're a little bit sort of tight-knit, and they bonded, right? So they're very close, and they have fun, and they just love to compete. And so it's emotional for them to be here, and they love celebrating. And so that's the Canyon team.
All the way from North Vancouver, got into the nation's capital last night, or
this morning,
last afternoon.
Right.
Actually, the plane they took off early in the morning out of Vancouver Airport to get here, but you got that 3 hours difference in time. The change in time is an adjustment that seemingly Canyon has not had a problem with.
No, exactly. Clearly, maybe the time difference is playing in their favor somehow, because it is earlier in Vancouver, out west. So who knows? So this will be the last point before soft cap.
So they'll bring that one out to the brick. And Toro will begin from their own 40-yard line. Actually, it's going to be much better field position.
So
midfield.
It could be that this is their second offside. So if this is the second offside by the dark team Canyon, then they get it at the midpoint.
Toro in tough here, trying to get something going. Sam G all the way back out near side. Evan Edgel. Cameron Moans turns it over. Canyon gets it back.
Yeah, these are the types of drops that are just so unfortunate for Toro.
Nice flip for Morissette. Noah Callowert into the end zone. Easy grab for Nate Bernardi.
This being said, there was a pick call that was called much earlier, and I saw that being put up, so by number 43, Jason Wu. So if that had an impact on the play, that's going to come back. And he's saying, yes, the reason you were open is because you created a pick.
Well, you have to admire his imagination.
We don't know. We weren't there. Here, it's going back to the thrower, so we're going to redo that.
Noah Callowert.
Running through the vertical stack often creates picks. It's not necessarily ill-intended. It's just geometry.
Discus tapped in. Callowert. O'Reilly. Callowert. O'Reilly with some space, moves it in. Back Morissette. Back for O'Reilly. And a little bit of a hand on that disc impeded its progress, and it was swatted away by Akash Nagabira.
What great energy there by Akash Nagabira. Just such intention with the successful D.
Sam G. And again, Toro having some difficulty with that initial press by Canyon defensively. Long pass. Nagabira looking deep for Tamayo. He's got it. No, he's got to come back out. Kevin Tamayo made the catch right on the goal line, and now he's trying to get it inside the end zone. Move it back out. Here's Gavin Ho. Being pressed. Ho sends that one in, and just an errant pass intercepted there by Zach Bernardi, and it's another turnover by Toro.
Toro had made some good progress and was using the entire width of the field, and I think that had some success for them. So we'll see if we see that next point. But now Canyon.
Beck Morissette back for Nate Bernardi out. Far side. Callowert. Oh, a layout! And it ends up in a drop, but what a great effort there by Turo Callowert.
There were a couple pirouettes there on the catch before the throw and then on the throw itself. So some reminiscing of the Olympics on this game here.
Noah and Turo out there on the field for Canyon. They lead by 6.
When Canyon used the entire width of the team, of the field, this really worked for them. So hopefully they can find someone and really use the entire width.
Wow. You gotta like the fact that this game could be setting the tone for the entire championships. Great defense, solid offense on both sides. Just one team makes a few more mistakes than the other.
And that's all that separates these teams at this level, is just a few mistakes. You know, nothing major. Both teams are playing extremely well. Look at that level of handling. I mean, these players are not 18, or not 19, I mean. So It's just impressive. Oh, great bid.
Nagavira lunged to keep that one alive. It didn't work out. Turnover once again. Zach Bernardi. Bernardi drops that one back for Turo Calloward. Bernardi has it now. No movement in the end zone. There's a nice low driller right to Beck Morissette. Into the end zone for the goal. Noah Calloward from Zach Bernardi, and it's now 13-6.
I'm looking forward to seeing this replay with the catch that Zachary Bernardi made in the back while he was running. Look at that. That seemed like an easy catch, and it was behind him. And he's very composed and throws right into the end zone to number 87, Noah Calloward. So the athleticism and the ability to handle that disc that Canyon has been demonstrating is really something else. I mean, they're comfortable and they're athletic and they're present and they're intense, and that's what's showing off. But we did see some good progress by Toro on that point, and I believe they're going to start to figure that out, that if they spread wide enough, I think they have a good chance of piercing the Canyon O, Canyon D, I mean, when they're on O.
In these short tournaments, with so much at stake, what do the coaching staff, what did Toro take into their training sessions before they go again tomorrow?
Well, I don't know if they'll have time tonight to view the video because they're playing again in the morning, and they play 2 to 3 times a day. But the coaching staff, they're very experienced, and I'm sure that they've seen this, and I'm sure that they will be adjusting. And we're seeing some of the coaching staff now running around with tablets and taking notes, and so I have confidence that they're taking all of this into play and will be adjusting for the rest of the tournament.
All the way down inside the Toro end zone. Derbyshire moved it up. Comes all the way back. Angel. For G. No. That's Nick Sue. Nicholas Sue. Malcolm Peters. Right along the sideline. Forces Sue back. Sue back in 5 yards out. Sends Derbyshire back to his own goal line. And again, that impressive defense is not allowing Toro much room to move, especially deep inside their own zone. But now, with some quick handling, the disc comes all the way beyond midfield. Julian Lee tried to move that one through, tried to thread the needle, and when you're down, you try to make plays that you know the percentage of it working out is low.
It's a bit lower, and it was a bit of a misfire. I mean, these things happen, especially, I mean, it's long in the game, and the teams are tired and they're excited.
There's two players lay it out. Number 44, Arlo Mutter, getting his first action of the game, and that's good for the coaching staffs, making sure everybody gets an opportunity to sort of get a feel for what it's like to play in a Canadian championship.
Absolutely. We saw that fantastic defensive layout by Leo Shen on the and Shen has to walk off the team because I think that layout might have done something to his shoulder, or so a bit of a injury sub here.
That's not fun.
That's not fun, and that was such a great defensive layout that prevented Canyon from having that point.
Derbyshire comes near side. Tomash still inside his end zone. Derbyshire forced to go back the other side for Sue. Back for Derbyshire. Evan Derbyshire. Tomash. Derbyshire drops it, but he's going to say that Kai Creed reached in.
He's saying that Kai Creed contacted his arm, and that's what created the fumble, which made him lose control. Let's see how they resolve this. Yep, Kai Creed agrees. He says, yep, probably right. Take it back.
No. discretion's the better part of valor. They have a 13-6 lead, and time is winding down on Toro. Sure, okay.
Well, I mean, it's the right call, and that's all that matters. Oh, that was a nice threading the needle.
Peters up the middle, looking down there for William Beveridge and Eddie Zhao. There defensively for Canyon.
Their handler signaling, let's calm down, let's calm down.
Here's Creed. Little flip back into the middle. Out there now, number 41, Cooper Woodman. His first opportunity to play. Kai Creed. Creed looking for Zhao. Finds Woodman. Woodman looking back for Creed. They know where their bread is buttered. Get the disc back to number 7. Here's Eddie Zhao once again. Zhao, 10 yards out. Zhao for Creed. Creed on the doorstep. Little flip into the end zone for the goal.
So that was good decision making by Creed to not throw it into the huddle that was accumulating on the side of the end zone, but to make that safe choice. So we see Joe to Creed and all that traffic. He says, nope, let's do it in a place where there's only someone that's free.
And Max Lee can tell everybody I scored a goal in the Canadian Championships on a great feed from Kai Creed. 7 points on the night, a goal and 6 assists for Kai Creed. 7 points for number 7. You got to be thinking about him as your player of the game.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we were expecting Kai Creed to be one of the top players because he was on the Team Canada U20 team representing Canada, and he just came back from that. He just came back from Worlds. And he's been such a key player. And he has not disappointed us tonight, Dan.
No, indeed. But there's so many contributions from the Canyon squad in this one, and we got to the hard cap at 85 minutes, and this one is in the books. The opening game of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships is history, and Canyon walks away with a 14-6 victory.
What a great game, and both teams can be quite proud of how they represented the sports and represented their cities, because the intensity was there on both sides, and they both gave it everything that they had that was evident. And I know that they'll both come out of this game with things to adjust and things to improve, and they will have the chance to do that because the tournament is only beginning.
Indeed. We move to Ultimate Parks International. And then back here for the finals next weekend and Wednesday as well.
Right.
At UPI on Wednesday. And there again, we'll see a different kind of ultimate because of the fact it's going to be played on natural surface.
Exactly. And that can change things for some of these teams. You know, maybe they're used to practicing on turf, so nothing is ever to be taken for granted. And maybe the other teams are going to watch this and learn how to play against Canyon, for example. So anybody's tournament so far, but a great win by Canyon still, 14-6.
That's a final. Canyon goes 1-0, and Team Toro has to work out some kinks. The final score 14-6. For Chantal Dussault and our entire Rogers broadcast team, I'm Dan Mooney. Thanks so much for the company, and we hope you enjoyed this inaugural game of the 2024 Canadian Ultimate Championships. You're going to see a little more later on in the week. Take care, folks.
top where the fat cap is in order to allow the flavor to go beneath the fat and get to the actual meat. Then I roast this for 3 hours at 350 degrees. And then for the last half an hour, I turn it up to 400 to turn it nice and brown. I did this one last night and marinated it so I could show you what it would look like, but I have a swap. Let me get this one in the oven and we'll pull out the cooked one. Look at that. All right. So I love to do meal prep in containers ready for the week. So I'm going to show you what I would do to make all of these into a meal prep bowl. So we have our cooked buckwheat noodles coated in sesame oil. We're gonna put those on the bottom here. Then I have